Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and Iron here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe. And today, we're going to be talking about some NAT. We did it again, dude.
What did you do?
Well, we didn't do anything. The community did it.
Yeah, the community also got us banned or
Yeah,
blocked by
blocked.
Adam Back.
That's a big name.
Yeah, so if you guys read the title, not the first time we've been blocked.
No.
We have a history of, for whatever reason, whenever we do things.
Yeah, Richard Hart blocked us.
Satoshi Nakamoto blocked us.
He blocked us. Now Adam Back.
Adam Back. So people...
I mean, people blocking us, that's not a good track record for them.
Oh, I was going to say. I mean, we're not really doing anything. We're just finding interesting things and
we're
problems.
finding problems and we're
proposing solutions.
Exactly. Yeah. And
case.
so much so that the community got NAT trending again.
Again, in 1 week.
Yeah.
So I was asking you, like, what does that even mean, right? It basically, like, NAT is or should be front and center in front of, like, basically all of crypto Twitter.
Crypto
right?
Twitter, yeah.
Which is interesting. That means people should be learning more at this time.
Yeah.
What it's all about. And what a better time to learn a bit about it.
And as the correct assumption is likely is that what is this shitcoin that is trending, right?
That's true, because you typically see any crypto ticker and you assume it's like,
scam.
Especially if you're a Bitcoin maxi.
Especially.
Yeah, it's like written in stone.
Yeah. So much so it's like you make assumptions that are incorrect, which on average your assumptions on shitcoins is on average probably correct, right? Yeah. But sometimes you're not. They're not correct. And so those times is when you should just look into it a little bit deeper and see like why a bunch of guys in a podcast room seem to be talking about NAT a lot more often these days.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's why like you said, it's okay to make assumptions because, a lot of things happen historically, and then, per statistics, you just, to not expel too much mental energy to try and like figure out if this one is this an outlier?
Yeah, it's a self-defense mechanism. It's just it happens to everybody. Just
to move through life more efficiently, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why Michael Saylor, he hated Bitcoin in 2013. He thought it was a scam, and now look at him. He's competing with Satoshi in terms of holder count.
Yeah, so that's another thing to keep in mind. So Adam Back obviously is a very important figure in the history of Bitcoin. I mean, probably one of the most important ones, right?
Yeah, he was like one of the early inventors of proof of work.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's, cited by Satoshi himself in the original Bitcoin white paper. It's like, hey, we should use that.
Yeah.
As our proof of work consensus mechanism.
Yeah. So we have a ton of respect for Adam Back and all the Bitcoin OGs. And so let's talk about like why we're talking about Adam Back. So here it is. Like he blocked us. I think we can.
I can't even see the message anymore. Nope.
We can verify. Wait a minute. Dude. He unblocked us.
No, he did not.
I think so, dude. I don't know what's happening. Either. Oh no, here it is.
You're blocked. You're still blocked.
Still blocked.
You still suck.
Yeah. All right. So what are we talking about here? So Origin, he posted this decoder article, which you guys should read, and the link will be in the description. It says, "Hey Adam, are you aware that of Bitcoin will eventually have a problem security budget issue, and the solution is already working? It doesn't require a single code change in Bitcoin Core, no consensus fights, no breaking the 21 million cap, no governance votes. Check this out." So read this article, and so Adam surprisingly responds, and he says the flaw is their airdrop coin has fundamentally zero value, and no doubt someone is pre-mining or pseudo-pre-mining non-starter. Also, the claimed problems are 2 halving cycles. That's O'Brien's opinion. Bitcoin has been growing a lot faster than 2x every 4 years.
Okay, so those are the starting point. Now you can go deeper into this like discussion, but it starts to get, kind of weird in a sense.
Yeah.
To the point where at the very end, tail end of this, that's where he goes on is like, all right, I'm just going to start blocking all of you, any of you who mention this ever again, because he's under the presumption that, it's another like orchestrated.
Some pump and dump scheme, team allocation and like ICO this and all that stuff.
That's what he's implying by, pre-mine, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, well, I was asking you, like, what is the definition of an actual
Well,
pre-mine?
let's look it up. So
Yeah, because if you don't understand the origins of NAT, which most people will not, now that they're first learning about it, and I'm assuming Adam Back did not do the due diligence to really understand the origins of how NAT was, initially distributed and issued, in comparison to like what is assumption of typical coins that are not Bitcoin. He's assuming it's one of those, right?
yeah, so the definition of pre-mine is in cryptocurrency, pre-mining refers to the process of creating and distributing a certain quantity of tokens or coins before the cryptocurrency is officially released to the public. This practice is often employed by the project's developers, founders, or even early investors to secure funding, reward early contributors, or establish initial reserves.
Yeah, none of that happened, dude.
None of that. Zero of that happened.
Which is part of the reason why it's such a challenge to get this token, industry scale integration, right? Because the industry at large requires typically for tokens to go to market this way, right? So that you have enough of the supply that you can deliver to exchanges. You have some funds to do whatever the hell, right? Whether it's hiring core developers and such or X, Y, and Z, right? But that is not the origin story to NAT, right?
No. So the origin story is NAT was a free and fair mint. It was, you minted this on Bitcoin's blockchain, and you paid the going rate of fees for each of the mints. And there was basically around 800,000 mints because each block represents, each block of NAT represents a block of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so this launched in November 20th, 2023. It blocked out in 7 days. It was completely free and fair. There was no team allocation, no VC, no KOL, no nothing.
Yeah.
And it was just 100% distributed to it. Anyone who was paying attention or interested at the time.
Yep.
And then on block 885588, that's when the new issuance of the NAT token, which is now being directed as of that block to Bitcoin miners. And just about 2 weeks ago, the second biggest miner in Bitcoin, Ampool, moved the NAT and has subsequently sold the NAT, and then that's when the price shot up because people saw that as a bullish signal, and then that's what piqued the attention of Adam because I guess so many people were talking about it.
Nailed it, dude. So I think a lot of people will agree. Like again, it's a safe assumption to make if you're like a maxi type because you've seen this 1,000 times. So it's like, what are the chances this 1 in 1,000 is not that? Well, you're looking at it. This is that 1 in 1,000 outlier where it was a truly free and fair distribution to a core holder base, right?
Yeah. So you won't find NAT on any of the major exchanges because there's no way to fund that.
Yeah.
Unless the community contributes, which they can and some have. But we're talking about we need briefcases full of cash in order to get this a bigger exposure and industry adoption through exchanges.
Yep, which the community is, including ourselves, is currently working to, figure out solutions to this problem, right? So NAT not only has its own native mission to figure out some of Bitcoin's bigger concerns for some parties, which we're going to talk about here soon, but also within NAT itself, it's like we've got our own concerns to strengthen the fundamental value, which Adam Back says he sees none in, which again is another Bitcoin maxi position. It's like nothing besides Bitcoin has any fundamental value.
Yeah, but you know what? History rhymes.
It does.
All right, so let me just move that over here. So when's the last time Adam Back made a comment? Was during the Bitcoin Ordinals, I guess you want to call it debacle or I don't know, some.
It was just the run up. We were there. We saw the whole damn story. Ordinals started really taking off. Really around the BRC 20 days.
Yes.
That's whenever Ordinals got to the point where it was clearly disrupting the fee mechanisms,
which was adding fees to the network, which meant paying the miners more money per block, thereby securing the network.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing for. I don't know what angle you look at Bitcoin. More fees is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, some people disagree, and they did back in those days too. To the point where Adam Back's initial reaction, was very, very similar, right, to what he's saying today about NAT.
Yeah, so Dash Jr.'s plan to put an end to the reign of Bitcoin Ordinals and BRC20 met with some negative reactions from the members of the crypto community, and Back happens to be one of them. The Blockstream CEO seems very confident that Dash Jr. cannot do anything about the JPEGs on BTC. And he says, you can't stop JPEGs on Bitcoin. Complaining will only make them do it more. Trying to stop them, and they'll do it in a worse way. The high fees drive adoption of Layer 2 and force innovation, so relax and build things. So, yeah.
I think you read the wrong one first. This is his like improved. So there's another quote here.
Yeah, I guess I don't have it.
There was it's right there.
Okay, yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
So that was post. I guess the argument about ordinals being spam on Bitcoin. Before that, Adam was like, you can't stop them. Well, of course, Bitcoin is designed to be censorship resistant and doesn't stop us mildly commenting on the sheer waste and stupidity of encoding. At least do something efficient. Otherwise, it's another proof of consumption of block space thingy. So, and this is Adam Back, who commented on ordinals are useless. So he says ordinals are useless, and then he says relax and build things afterwards.
Yeah, so that's just to me, I think a prediction on how things will kind of play out as, NAT kind of parallels to the impact of ordinals, at least in the context of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Initially met with a lot of resistance, and it's like, yeah, this is too much bloat. This is disrupting the stability of the fees within the network, so therefore things like purchasing coffee is like less viable, right? So therefore you're breaking the value proposition of Bitcoin as a currency, which Adam Back seems to favor.
Yeah.
Which I understand, right? That is like the original ethos of the Bitcoin core community.
Yeah, it's in the white paper, peer-to-peer cash.
Yeah, so you like the idea of people being able to buy something with Bitcoin and not have to worry about, hey, are these spammers minting too many JPEGs on this chain or not, right? If they are, then my coffee just tripled in price.
That's true.
So that's why initially they're like, fuck this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's prune it. But then down the line, it's like, hold on, by doing that, you're introducing so many more vulnerability risks to the network itself.
That's right.
Censorship. Like that is the whole point of this, right?
Yeah.
Censorship resistance, actually.
And on top of that, the narrative of Bitcoin has changed. It's not a peer-to-peer cash. You're not going to be using Bitcoin to buy coffee.
No.
Really, it's a store of value, and that's the worldwide sort of adoption of Bitcoin that's happening right now. Is that narrative is a store of value, digital gold. Once it gets past digital gold, it's going to be some other narrative, right? Digital value, whatever people want to call it. But a store of value means that you essentially buy the asset and you sort of just keep it. That's the point of a store of value. You're not going to be buying this asset and then using it to buy groceries.
Yeah.
And so that means that as the store of value narrative continues to grow, the less likely people are going to be making transactions on the Bitcoin network. And right now, we're seeing that. ETFs, $400 billion in ETF inflows into Bitcoin, and not a single move in price. There's no on-chain transactions. There's nothing. It's all OTC. So it's happening now. Do you think it's going to be happening more or less in the future? Right? More. And so yeah, the store of value, it lends to a problem, right? Which that problem is, the security of Bitcoin, right? And so the Blockchair guys have come up with this pretty interesting article that breaks down the security model of Bitcoin and that it's under threat. So let me kind of read some of the stuff here. So why is the security budget shrinking? Because of the Bitcoin block subsidy is cut in half every 4 years. In April 2024, the block subsidy dropped to 3.125 Bitcoin per block due to the scheduled halving. By 2140, it will be essentially zero. So what's expected to make up the difference? Transaction fees, obviously. But they haven't filled the gap. In March 2025, fees accounted for just 1.25% of the block reward, the lowest in 3 years. Those who opposed increasing the block in 2017 assumed a robust fee market would emerge, but in practice, it has not materialized because of the store of value narrative.
Yeah.
The median fee rate remains at 1 Satoshi per byte. Many users choose to migrate to other blockchains rather than pay high fees on Bitcoin. Their reasoning is simple. Why pay $100 for a transaction when I can use a cheaper alternative? Here's the long-term risk. If block subsidies decline faster than Bitcoin's price rises or transactions fees grow, miner revenue falls. If block rewards decline and neither BTC's prior nor on-chain fees increase sufficiently to offset the drop, miners' income may shrink. This could reduce total hash power, potentially lowering the cost of attacking the network and increasing the risk of chain reorgs. While Bitcoin's difficulty adjustment helps stabilize the system, the long-term reliance on transaction fees remains an open challenge. And then experts are sounding the alarm. James, Bitcoin core developer, we might have only 2 halvings left before this becomes a serious issue.
Serious issue implying because by then there will be 2 halvings, therefore
Subsidies
the
less.
value increase from Bitcoin doesn't or it's approaching a point where it's no longer at least doubling.
Yeah, right. And if
or
it's
at
not
least, at least showing enough data to suggest at some point in the near future after that, it's like a clear trend down,
Yeah.
So we're missing some data in order for this to be clearly an obvious concern, which I think is the reason why a lot of people are just ignoring it for now. Right?
Yeah, but I think the trend is down,
Yeah,
and
the
there's
trend
nothing
exists. Yeah,
there's nothing that suggests that the trend is going to reverse. You're not going to have a $200 trillion asset and then all of a sudden start making payments at the grocery store with Bitcoin. That doesn't seem likely. So it's now clear in practice that users won't pay large fees. Bitcoin needs to plan its security under the assumption that the fee rate will remain at 1 sat. And we have the CIO of Cyber Capital who says, as high fee prices out all the use cases, rendering it useless, low fees endangers the security budget and are only a consequence of it never being used. So one major reason, block size limit. Right now, Bitcoin does about 5 transactions per second. And then there are 3 main types of solutions, right? So we can scale on chain. This could mean increased block size, reducing block times, or adding up optional block extensions, such as Mimblewimble. And all these options would allow for more transactions to be included on the blockchain. Since there's still demand to transact on Bitcoin, just not as high fees, scaling can enable more transactions with smaller fees, forming a suitable or sustainable security budget. No need for terabyte blocks. If Bitcoin could produce 500 transactions per second, the average fee needed to replace the current subsidy would drop to about $1 per transaction. So change the consensus mechanism, shifting to proof of work to proof of stake. It does not align with Bitcoin's original design principles, and then break the monetary rules. Mess with the issuance model, but this does not align with the original design principles, such as tail emission, demurrage, tax on holding Bitcoin.
Yikes.
And then burning dormant coins such as Satoshis.
Yikes.
Or
pure theft, dude.
The
pure
other
thievery.
Yeah. Tail emission, stop halvings and allow infinite inflation.
Yeah.
So if infinite inflation is a possible solution for Bitcoin, you have NAT. It inflates and it's non-arbitrary. Yeah. It's based on the production of the bits field in the block data. And as hash power goes up, NAT production goes down. We didn't do this. Satoshi did this.
Yeah. So then you're saying the solution already exists?
It exists.
Without having to change the economic model of Bitcoin itself? We could still, per the suggestions of these Bitcoiners of how we could, sustain the incentive to continue the hash power exercise that is required to maintain that security is we don't have to change anything. We just have to embrace something that already exists.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And but there's no security issue. The hash rate is growing. That means everything's okay, right? It's the output of proof of work isn't hash rate. It's economic cost. What matters is not how many hashes are produced, but how expensive they are to produce. A growing hash rate means nothing if it's powered by cheaper hardware or cheaper electricity. In other words, security doesn't come from the numbers on a graph. It comes from real-world costs burned to defend the network. If the BTC denominated rewards drop, miners may still produce high hash rates. But with fewer incentives to stay honest, that opens the door to cheap attacks, especially if the cost of hardware or electricity falls. It's not about how much hash you see. It's about how costly it is to fake. And so this is a discussion that we were having in previous podcasts, is if our technology improves so much where we have really cheap electricity through fusion power, and we have super powered ASICs that are just more efficient and more powerful, you could have a nation state acquire these assets and attack the network because hash power went down because nobody's using the network. And there you come in, you turn everything on. Now you have 51% attack. And by the way, Monero was just attacked with a 51% attack just today.
What?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I think there's a bad actor out there who
Yeah.
had 51% hash power
Okay.
and started manipulating and ignoring transactions.
Wow. I did not know that. Let me look.
Yeah. Okay, so the price of Bitcoin will rise. So even a tiny subsidy like 1 Satoshi could still be worth a lot in the future. It says the logic is flawed. The security budget must be evaluated in BTC terms, not in USD. Miners are paid in BTC and attacks can be funded in BTC. It's unreasonable to expect that an economy worth 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis can remain secure if it only spends 1 Satoshi every 10 minutes on defense. If miners are underpaid, they can simply be bribed with BTC regardless of how high the USD price is. But the cost of an attack is more than just the security budget. You need to buy ASICs, hardware, etc. That's true only if the attacker builds everything from scratch. In reality, existing miners can't be bribed or incentivized to cooperate. They can be bribed. If the network underpays them, they may find betrayal more profitable than honest mining, especially if there's no long-term reward to stay loyal. And so finally, to close it off, the security budget is fading, and unless we realign incentives, the chain grows weaker. Many experts agree that if we don't act, Bitcoin could become vulnerable to a 51% attack in several years. It's time to talk solutions, not slogans.
That's us, dude. I think we got a credible one that should be added to the list, right?
Dude, shout out to Blockshare. So well written. Like the design of this whole thing is easy to read.
I totally agree. Yeah, I very much enjoy the structure of this information relaying, right? It's not like, I don't know.
It's not the same as like reading a white paper where
a
it's
wall
like
of text,
bricks of text. Like it's just not fun to read.
Yeah, I think you're right. So whether Adam Back agrees or not, like that this is a concern, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly he thinks it's over exaggerated, it's over dramatized. Those are his own words. So therefore it's not worthy of discussion or solution proposal, right? But us and others disagree. And I think that's okay. That's healthy. That's per the nature of Bitcoin itself, right?
That's the history of Bitcoin, just disagreements.
Yeah. So somehow we're in the position of we're now in the timeline of Bitcoin's history as another contentious point, I guess. Right.
Yeah.
The originals being like, maybe like the early days of Bitcoin forks where different coins were forking Bitcoin into Litecoin and other coins. Probably like a period of contention among, which of these coins are credible.
It's going to be the
not.
new Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to like the 2017 era where there was contention around
SegWit.
Block size as well. There's block size wars. Within the ecosystem of Bitcoin, people have different positions, right? So there's a new problem looming. Some people recognize it, some don't, and then we may be approaching a new period of contention, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is no different. And these Bitcoin OG guys, they cannot acknowledge problems when you're trying to onboard nation states onto the chain, because it's not a good look. It's not as like, hey, we should all use Bitcoin, but there's kind of some problems. Yeah. And like that's just not a good look. Even though like we could solve this issue. It's like, there's some options here, right? NAT is one option. Doesn't have to be the only option. There might be several subsidies to Bitcoin to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I mean, if miners need to make more money because they want to, maintain the network, sounds like a reasonable thing to suggest when the whole world is pinning their financial infrastructure on top of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and the belief and the conviction in its truest property of scarcity, right? Like, and that's something you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
Right, because all of a sudden you make it share its token designs with something like that is inflating or expanding. Mm-hmm. It disrupts the value perception of Bitcoin itself. So you can maintain that and still address these problems through independent solutions that are acting as complementary, devices to Bitcoin itself.
Yeah.
To maintain like the structured order of things and the progress of where we want this whole, I guess, experiment that is Bitcoin to go into the future, right?
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to look at. I've asked Grok about
the Monero.
Yeah, the Monero situation. It's taking a while to like cook it up, but some people on Twitter are saying it's a direct result of the entire network's hash rate only consumes 30,000 a day in electricity.
$30,000 a day?
Yeah. So what did you expect?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So this is exactly what we're talking about. You don't want to see that happen to Bitcoin.
And it can happen to Bitcoin. It can, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
All right. So finally, shout out to our Pakistan family out there. It's like we got NAT. We got this guy talking about NAT, and we saw this. We were like, we didn't know who this guy was, but then we saw he had 800,000 followers. Like, wait a minute. And it turns out that he's like one of the bigger influencers in Pakistan. I was like, cool.
Yeah, it's good to see, like, the trending algorithm works.
It does.
Whenever NAT goes trending, all of a sudden, people across the globe are noticing, and then they're on NAT GMI. They're learning about this. First of all, learning about the potential problem, because again, not many people are aware of it.
Yeah, it's not obvious.
Yeah, but it's there's enough data to suggest it's something that we should, as an ecosystem, as a collective, should be, again, at least talking solutions here. Or proposing some. And in NAT's case, it is a live working implementation. There's still,
solution,
yeah, there's still some steps left ahead of us to get this, to solidify the foundations of NAT itself.
Yep.
Which we'll talk about in future podcasts. Hopefully, maybe we can get Benny on board to do a podcast with us, to talk a little bit more about the infrastructure rails in depth.
Yeah. Yeah, so stay tuned to the podcast that's coming out on Saturday. We're going to go in deeper into all that stuff, and shout out to the NAT community for getting this trending and getting this in front of more eyes that are notable and credible, like Adam Back.
Yeah, and important to, again, keep and even though, like we said, we may be entering, if NAT gets more, accelerates, higher market cap, bigger community, bigger voice, whatever it is, it's going to attract more attention like it has done to Adam Back. Do not treat this potential period of contention like with in a negative way, right?
Yeah, we need to remain respectful. It doesn't matter who is hating on any token or NAT, or it doesn't matter who's hating on it. The problem is objectively there, and there is a solution objectively there as well. And you don't need to call names and just be respectful.
Yeah, because ultimately everybody's in the same boat, right? Everybody's hopeful for the future of Bitcoin itself. Our perspective, because it strengthens the potential for DMT, the digital matter framework, so that we can continue to proliferate more digital substance from Bitcoin. So we need Bitcoin's long-term sustainability to be figured out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but ultimately, it's all for the good of Bitcoin, right? So let's not fight.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you guys have better suggestions on solving this problem, let's put it in the comment section below. We like to see it. And if you find other topics that you want us to talk about, please put it in the comment section below. I appreciate you for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.